Happy Valentine, happy Valentine's, happy Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. That Valentine, that happy Valentine, that Valentine's Day, that Valentine's Day. Oh, happy Valentine's Day, y'all. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Uninvited Guest. Now this movie is from 1999 and it stars Mekhi Phifer and Morrow. Now before we get into all things that is the appetizer of the double feature on this happy Valentine's Day, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that and then we're going to come back and discuss. This movie is low-key like a little underrated gem. This film is the epitome of, wait, there's more. Twist after twist after twist. But I can tell you one thing, there was never one dull moment in this movie.
Go back.
Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this movie. But before we jump into the video, I have to give a shout out to the person who paid for and requested this film. So if you happen to get your box ate out by a complete stranger while sitting on the counter in your very own kitchen, it's not because of me, it's because of this person right here. Thank you so much for supporting me and paying for this content. Now, getting into this movie was written and directed by a black man, Mr. Timothy Wayne Folsome. He also wrote and directed Cutthroat Alley, Jacked, other films that are more so on the low-budget independent side of the spectrum, but with a little backing and some real support from a studio, someone to really fine-tune and edit his scripts, given a bigger budget, I think he could be highly successful. Movies such as this one, Blue Hill Avenue, Daughters of Dust, Medicine for Melancholy, maybe something like Premature, they really don't get a whole lot of shine, but they do show a whole lot of promise for the directors and the writers who were in front of these films. Now we open this movie with this looming, intimidating force walking around the neighborhood. And who is it, do you ask? It's Silk! Not the shocker, Mekhi Phifer setting out to rob a store, holding none other than Kim Fields with the biggest nose ring that you would ever want to see in your life at gunpoint to rob this store. And before she could get out, keep your head up, what? Keep your head up, that's right, in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I've got my girl. She was shot. She was shot. You know, she has a brief cameo here. And this is to do nothing else but lay the foundation for us as an audience that Silk does not play any games. He is not above taking a life and will do so to get what he needs and get to where he needs to be. At which we get into our very first twist of many. Somebody approaching Silk after this robbery, but we have no clue who it is. But after we leave Silk committing murder and armed robbery with the happiest background music you would ever want to hear in the background that has nothing to do with the murder scene that just took place, you gotta love a good Tubi movie. We get into Mel Brooks here as Howard, aka the worst husband that you would ever want in your life. Did I mention half the cast of Soul Food is here in this movie? Mel Brooks literally looks like he just walked off the set of Soul Food from the Who Gets Cola scene. Like, you know, she had that bottle shaped like a Coke bottle. Who gets cola? Like, not only is it Howard's anniversary, but his wife is portrayed here by the beautiful Morrow, who has literally been fine her entire career. Like, sis, you ain't gotta hurt him like this. I really wish that she was an actress who got a few more roles thrown her way. Though she could act, you could tell that she was designated to more sex kitten roles that were mostly based on her body and how fine she was. But I ain't mad at it though. But she is trying to be the best Debbie that she can be and surprise Howard on their wedding anniversary. Just all out in the open. Yes, come in the kitchen, give it to me. Happy anniversary. Boo. No, Howard cannot be bothered because Howard is just so focused on his career, what he wants to do, his dreams and ambitions of being a writer. But not just any writer, a screenwriter. He wants so badly for one of his scripts to be picked up. And now that it finally has, he would rather spend the day with his two friends critiquing and fine-tuning the script before he turns it in and skip the anniversary with his wife altogether. Recognize right away that Howard is selfish, gives Debbie zero attention or affection, and hasn't been the best husband for quite some time in their marriage. We feel like Debbie can do and absolutely deserves better because who the hell is turning down sex with Debbie on their anniversary? Something is not right here. But we chalk it up to Howard being insensitive, maybe a little tone deaf, maybe a little too driven. We never once think that it's anything else outside of that. Or even the lovely Malinda Williams here, who portrays Tammy, her best friend who wants to be an actress, trying so hard to push her friend to go back home, forgive your husband in his shortcomings. Girl, it's okay that he forgot about your anniversary, doesn't care to spend time with you. Just go home. Mind you, the best friend absolutely despises Howard and feels like she could do better. But on this particular day, you need to go home. I have stuff to do. You never once think of anybody having a motive or the real outcome that we have in the end. And I know that that is a test to the actors that we have here in the film. Everybody here is a really good actor. I feel like if it was anybody else, this could have went left and been a little predictable. But outside of that, the plot twists and the things that occur here, the way that this movie flows from beginning to end, it's genuinely good writing. I mean, it's not great, but it is good. Speaking of good actors, this movie turns up so many notches when we get to spend some time with Mekhi Phifer here as Silk. Like, Mekhi Phifer doesn't get a whole lot of play. Actually going recently to go and look at his filmography, I thought that he had been in a few more other films, but looking at everything, I can see that he has been designated often to being the love interest, you know, the homeboy, the husband, the boyfriend, you know, very attractive. It's not all that often that he gets to play against type, but even with movies like Clockers, Lemon Soul Food, you know, Paid in Full, there are moments where he gets to show range. And I'm like, my man can act. And it does not fall short here. This is maybe one of, you know, the many movie roles that he has had that he just gets to go off the rails and be villainized, be sinister, and it is turned all the way up to here. Now, when I tell you Silk becoming that uninvited guest, showing up to Howard's house as he's writing his $3 million script with his two friends, looks as sinister as the leprechaun standing in a snowstorm with the silk three-piece suit on, like just evil. It's all in the cheekbones and the smile, but it still looks sexy though. Silk is here as this complete stranger invading this space, and Howard is just simply okay with it. I love the fact that we are working on this script and we are focusing so much on the scene of, you know, if a wife is cheating with this local man, you know, is the husband around? What does he do? Like, Howard is injecting reality into this script and giving us little subtle hints that he always had a motive and that he is just trash from the very beginning. Even the little subtlety of him not really being alarmed, you know, oh, we can help a stranger, have a drink, lose a little money. What is the big deal? Whereas we have his two friends that, you know what, I'm so glad that we have gotten further away from those tropes of gay men just not being able to compose themselves around straight men and just being instantly attracted just because it's a man and I'm gay and I just don't know how to, like, oh, I am so oh, hello, oh, I'll ride you, like just all that pushy clinginess. Like, I am so glad that we have gotten away from that. But we have one friend who's, it's a man and I'm gay, so I don't care about him being here. Whereas we have Wanye is here, a Boyz II Man who is straight. He is alarmed. You can't trust people. Are you sure about this? When I tell you I was waiting on Wanye's pigeon neck to pop out at any given moment. We don't even talk anymore. We don't even know what I thought the Boyz II Man was gonna, why do we hurt? I thought the pigeon R&B 90s neck was gonna pop out of one. Why do we push love away? I thought that neck. Surprise to me, Wanye was actually good here and was acting very well. I was like, all right, Wanye. This is definitely one of those movies that you watch once and go back to rewatch to see all of the subtle things, like the friends being more alarmed because they were in jeopardy and Howard being calm because he was plotting the entire time. I love the fact that we have Malinda Williams here, aka, hey, you want to dance? Yeah, I want to dance. High school high, sexing on the dance floor. Bow. I love that we have her lusting and thirst trapping at the time after her own husband and father to her son. Like, kudos to actors, because I could never. I could never. Girl, get off my man. Tammy, who so badly wants a piece of Silk, wants Debbie to play mediator. You know, go over there and talk to my friend. You know, she wants that good old smoky. God damn, she wants that good old smoky situation. Hook me up, girl. Talk me up. Let him know why I am just so amazing and why he should be flocking to somebody like Tammy, which was the worst position for somebody like Debbie to be in. We are in heat in this sexless marriage, just all around neglected. And we can see as an audience that Silk is playing Tammy, who is coming on strong all the way to the left. But when it comes to Debbie, we are listening, we are flirty, knows an awful lot about Debbie. The chemistry is very strong, but you can tell that Debbie is trying to think about her husband, be respectful of her marriage, resist, even though Silk knows her every single desire, needs, and wants. Which I absolutely love. When we get back into the script, you really just feel like Silk is a flirt and he is very attentive and is paying attention to detail. You never think for 1 second that her husband has set all of these things in motion, told Silk these things for him to be as well versed in Debbie as he is. However, at the time, you as a viewer, you feel like Debbie is starting to drift off into the wrong territory, engaging a little too much with this stranger who was supposed to leave a very long time ago, even though Silk has made it very clear that he wants you. Then those good old questions start to come into play. Where is your husband? Why are you able to be alone with Silk for so long, even if it is for you to push up and prop up your best friend? Why are you able to go to Fantasy Island on your very own kitchen counter? When Silk sits her on the counter, tells her to close her eyes as he rubs and massages her feet, moves all the way up to her ankle, caresses her legs and her inner thighs, to the point of her being completely entranced by the speech that he's given, his tone of voice. When I tell you this turned into a whole erotic ass novel, Michael, he gave her that goddamn Michael ass speech. I can give you everything you want, everything you need, if you just let me. Like, your every aching need, desire, things that you are hungering for, mentally, physically, sexually, emotionally, they can be met if you just give me the word. Like, girl, it's hot. A very vulnerable Debbie eats this up to the point that he is eating her box on her very own kitchen counter with her husband outside, and she is none the wiser. She is just enjoying the ride and enjoying the sensation. Girl, where is your husband? Where is your husband? What are you doing? You are married. Why hasn't anybody came in? And if you are gonna let him lick it, you might as well let him stick it. I mean, just come on. You are not even recognizing at this point that the husband is kind of coming in on cue, and you know she's trying to hide them panties that will push to the side. You know what I mean? Put them panties to the side. I'm sorry. The transition here in the script is so good to the point that even though we know Howard is a poor excuse for a husband, he is neglecting her, he is sorry, he is selfish, you don't have any real income, you are working at the post office, and the home that we are currently living in was left to me by my family and the money that I had stashed to the side. You are not really offering anything to this marriage. But be that as it may, with the great writing that is being executed at the moment, those roles switch so instantly to where we see Howard as the victim. Even though he is a sorry husband, he is faithful, he isn't a cheater, unlike Debbie, look like the sneaky, horny, cheating, weak, vulnerable, oh, I just couldn't control myself of a wife. And that's when the writing kind of low-key comes into question for me, because I really wanted to know just how Howard was before as a husband, because with her wanting sex and wanting, you know, attention from her husband so badly, she says, you know, oh my God, well, it's been 2 months. Like, well, damn, Debbie, you know, people wait longer for packages to get delivered from China. Like, what exactly was this marriage before? And if that, you know, was all the time that it took for something like this to occur, then just how strong was your marriage in the first place? But outside of things like the husband being stingy with his cootie cat, other things that kind of make me go, but I still couldn't really just guess what was going on, was the best friend Tammy really taking it personal and internalizing, oh, did you sleep with him? What happened in this kitchen? You foul, that's messed up. You would do that to me, your best friend? As if this is her man. Like, don't know this man outside of him being attractive from a can of paint to proclaim that your friend is instantly trifling. Not even at all try to believe her, even though Debbie was flat out lying, saying nothing occurred. Why were you so quick to just be judgmental and feel like something happened and you're not as great of a friend to me as I thought you were? I just love how through the writing, every single person is giving an inkling into the real motive that they have in the situation, but it's not enough to give the plot away and make you think anything other than, oh, she just being extra. Having Tammy continue to be at odds with Howard as that sorry husband was absolutely a smart choice to hide the motives that they had going on with each other. Unlike our other two characters, Mo, the hood friend, and Trey, who are very much so alarmed and bothered by him, especially when a police officer shows up looking for him. And who doesn't really have a strong reaction to this? Howard. He kind of has one, but not really. I love the way that the movie goes about the friendship, and with a little bit of time that we do spend with them, we do see that the other two men, Mo and Trey, really have a lot riding on this script, especially when we get into Mo. We are supposed to be getting $3 million. This is supposed to be life-changing, and Howard is supposed to be that great friend that is looking out for his own when he is anything but. And this is also something that plays well into the writing of this actual movie script also. This officer showing up has absolutely nothing to do with Howard's initial plan, but it makes the scene feel a little bit more realistic when stuff absolutely hits the fan and Silk shows up, knocking out, tying up the cop, and also doing something with Howard and his two friends so he can have his way and spend more time with Debbie. Debbie, who is doing everything except for calling the freaking police. Like, The way that he is invading all of Debbie's personal space, like, it's just so problematic. I know that we have her not doing something as, I guess, extreme as calling the police, and we have her just excessively telling Silk, you need to leave, you need to get out, where is my husband, there's beer in the fridge, what is happening? I don't know, but I need you to leave and I need to go and find my husband. Now, we do have it set up to where, you know, earlier in the movie, he has awakened something inside of her, you know, not just by the head in the kitchen, you know, that's a part of it, but he has brought back, you know, that inspiration of her wanting to get back to herself and paint again. So she does seem to entertain him a lot more than she needs to, but bothered by the fact that Debbie was so comfortable and so willing to lie to her husband, regardless of the type of husband that he was. And with us not really knowing exactly what's going on at this point of the movie, you just feel like, girl, your husband has been low-key kidnapped, hidden somewhere. What does finding your husband have to do with you pretty much going on a date with Silk the stranger? We hopping on the back of motorcycles. We are going to the art gallery. We are low-key kind of following his lead, hanging on to his every word. Silk is so good at what he does and gets her so involved and us so involved as an audience that we low-key like, you know, Silk would be a good man for Debbie if he wasn't all crazy. But you know, girl, you need to go find your husband. Girl, this is crazy. All the way up until the point that we not only don't call any police or none of that to go and really do due diligence to look for our husband, we go back to this empty house and slip and fall on Silk's penis. If you're looking for heaven's only door, you got the key, baby, open me. Baby, won't you come inside? Debbie said her love was the softest place on earth. Baby, you can be the first inside the softest place on earth. But the neighbors didn't have to pull the blinds, Debbie, because your husband was peeking through the goddamn window. At the point of Debbie realizing just how possessive Silk is and that he is not playing a game when he says, girl, I want you to run away with me. People have been tied up, lives are in jeopardy, and a cop has already been murdered. But even with stakes being as high as they are, Howard is more concerned with the fact that she slept with Silk, who is rubbing it in every single moment that he gets, instead of the lives that are in jeopardy at the moment. So by the time that he tells Silk that he can have Debbie, she is trash, calls her pathetic to her face, and also tells her that she is a sorry little completely out of pocket, even for somebody who has been cheated on. At that point, I would have canceled Christmas on his ass, especially since the sex was sexing too with Silk, or I would have been out. But then again, with the writing still being so good at this point and all of these twists and turns coming out of nowhere, the script is really using this time to sell Howard and his friends to us. Even though I could care about my little stank wife, I still care about my life. I still care about my friends. They were really selling it in that scene. One yay and out his neck. I want to live. I want to go on. I did not care for the dynamic of the way he treated the best friend Trey, who was gay. You know, even though you gay, man, I still love you. I never gave up. Like, I did not like that dialogue at all, or even just the execution of Trey's character in one bit. The way that he is killed, you know, him being considered weaker or really targeted just off the strength of him being a gay man. Like, I thought that was an extremely poor dated choice. There were so many dynamics to Mekhi's character of Silk. One moment he was funny with all the puns and the jokes and the commentary in the world, really digging into his character, all while being loving and sensitive and kind to Debbie, who is there strictly trying to appeal to his better nature so she can maybe have a chance to get away with her life as well as her husband's. But wait, there's more. That is until Tammy shows her ass up and takes this story to a completely different place. Now, this movie definitely took some cues from movies like Scream, as to say that none of the characters here outside of Debbie is who we thought they were. Tammy shows up, surprising Silk, allowing the two women to get the upper hand along with Howard. This has all been some sadistic plot courtesy of Howard, who has never been satisfied with anything. Not his job, not his life, and definitely not his wife Debbie. He was willing to sacrifice her and his two friends just so that he could make it in Hollywood for a script that they might pay for just because it's based off of a true experience. Crazy. But you know who does care about Debbie? Silk. Silk, who just met her today. Silk, who was strictly there to kill Debbie, not only doesn't want to anymore, but he slept with her. He took her to the art gallery to reinforce his support for her. The love, the feelings he has for her. He feels like she's a kindred spirit and they complement each other. Meanwhile, we strictly have Howard, the husband, worrying about, you don't get to kill Tammy. I get to kill Tammy. Why? Because wait, there's more. Howard and Tammy are equally yoked in their delusion. Tammy, who wants to be an actress, has been in on this the entire time and has been sleeping with Howard, even though she acted like she could not stand his guts for the entire film. Also, that she might be able to star in this movie that has not been made, purchased, or wrote yet. But Silk, the gigolo murdering psycho, wants to run away with you so bad that he gets distracted just at the thought of being able to spend a little bit more time with you and maybe being able to get some head. Silk, I can't give you head right next to my best friend to prove my loyalty. I thought you respected me. Like, oh my God. When this movie pushes it and goes off the rails, it really freaking takes it there. Silk actually has genuine love for Debbie, unlike her own husband, who has been sleeping with her best friend, plotting against her, tried to have her murdered, and is trying to play the blame game. Now that his plan has gone astray, Debbie knows about everything, and he doesn't really have the guts to shoot Debbie himself. The fact that Silk never wanted to kill her in the first place, low-key wanted her to run away with his murdering ass just so she could get away from her own husband who was plotting against her the entire freaking time. The fact that even in such a dire situation, Silk took precious time out to go and take Debbie's painting that she attributes to her own father to have it placed in an art exhibit, to immortalize her even in death, even though he wanted her to go on. Literally, his last efforts are trying to save Debbie, tackle Howard just so Debbie could have a fighting chance. Like, get away from these crazy people. I know I'm crazy too, but at least I love you. Like, when I tell you, I was looking at this movie like, what the hell? But it wasn't like a bad what the hell. It was like, what the hell? There was twist on top of twist. The fact that this movie even goes against the trope of the final girl. This is low-key kind of a horror movie. All of this suspense and thriller. In any other film, Debbie would have made it. Debbie doesn't make it. Debbie does not make it. Howard kills Debbie. Like, what we have Debbie descend all white on, feeling godly, all off up into heaven to see her father who has passed on, and we have Silk literally die on top of her courtesy of Howard. Like, what? Y'all almost got away with it, didn't you? Like, when I tell you Tammy and Howard were sitting there selling it, all of them, you know, white woman tears, you know, this is all Silk's fault. He killed my wife, killed my two friends. Like, they are literally about to get away with murder. The cops are believing everything. But wait, there's more. Debbie took a little insurance out of her own, placing Howard's tape recorder underneath their bed so Howard and Tammy will end up with nothing and take their dusty asses on to prison where they belong. Like, I ain't mind this movie. I did not mind this movie. Like, there were so many different layers. Mekhi looked like a chocolate bar. Debbie was looking good. All of this good story plot. Like, it just kept going and I didn't mind it. Like, for whatever this movie is, unlike the movies that we get now that are really predictable, this was not predictable and I was never ever bored. What more can you ask for on this Valentine's Day? Well, you guys, that was my review for Uninvited Guest. I hope you enjoyed it. Get them comments rolling. But wait, there's more. This is still our double feature day. Do not leave just yet. Don't try to mosey on and go to somebody else's, channel. Go have that can wait. Keep your ass right here. Switch on over to the premiere of my Woo video that should be coming up right about now. Don't forget to comment now. Comment on this video and like it, and move on down to our romantic movie that is Woo. Was it romantic? Girl, we about to see.